I just want to be like everyone else. I just want to be normal like everyone else, because that's what we're taught, you know, it's what society teaches us. That's the normal, you got to look perfect. Did want to be confident, of course I wanted to be confident like everyone else. And then there was also like my parents, obviously, they were so worried, and my mum and my dad were like wanting to find a cure for me, because they were probably thinking how much I've changed in terms of what a confident little lad I was to now this guy who doesn't even want to go out, you know, or go and socialise with friends. Why are you always at home? Why are you always stuck in your room? Why are you playing? Why don't you get off your computer, you know? Well, Football Manager is addictive, but but yeah, so they probably saw that change in me and wanted to find a cure for me. So they always pushed to. Me and my mum and dad were probably thinking we need to get him married one day, and we probably want him to look. Again, it's the old school mentality that, you know, how will we get him married off? Who will want to marry him, kind of thing.
Asian community.
Yeah, the whole stigma about the Asian community, which I'm working on like tirelessly now to change. So yeah, it was a bit of both, probably, I'd say.
The people and us. So obviously you've told me already, but there is no cure for vitiligo, is there?
There is no scientifically proven cure out there.
However, I read a post of yours recently, but there are some treatments that can help make the pigmentation come back.
So again, it's not proven, but in some cases, yes, it can happen. And there's loads and loads of people out there who will claim to have a cure, and just rip you off for money, because there is no cure. There's ways of slowing it down. I mean, there's ultraviolet light treatment, certain like creams, like I said, from the NHS that help slow it down, but there's not anything as such yet that actually cures it or reverses it. However, yeah, there was a medicine that I was on for about 2 years, 2 years prior to 2012, so 2010 to 2012.
Before that one, you also went to India, spoke to some gurus, came back.
Yeah.
Or you did.
Spoke to many gurus.
You did the whole shebang, didn't you?
I did the whole shebang. So after the NHS treatment, I tried Chinese herbal medicine. That again worked for a little while. It took about 6 months for it to actually start working. It started working, so it was on my eyes then. It started coming back, the brown skin started coming back around my eyes. It was like, wow. And it was the most disgusting thing I've ever taken to date. So it was like dried herbs boiled down to water and drinking that water, and it was revolting. I can explain what it tastes like. It's like mud and tree and grass mixed into a glass. Is what I can explain.
I don't want to try that. Though I used to eat mud when I was younger, but no.
I think we've always, if you play football, you eat mud. So yeah, Chinese herbal medicine. From then went on to it wasn't cheap. So for me personally, I always felt bad because my mum and dad were dishing out so much money on this medicine, because they really wanted me to get better. So I felt bad. Always having to say, Mum, I need to pay this person, but they would never ever say no, because they would just wanted me to get better. So yeah, I went on to Ayurvedic medicine, went to India, saw many people that in the middle of nowhere claimed to be a vitiligo doctor that could cure vitiligo. Yeah. It's like, wow, what are you doing in this little hut? You should be living up in a huge mansion, being a billionaire.
Indians are the best salespeople in the world. You know that. What do you need? You got vitiligo? I can cure vitiligo.
Yeah, I can
what
cure.
Have you got? Cancer? I can cure cancer. What have you got? I know everything. Like, I have never met. Every time I've been to India, there was this one time I went there and I had a stomach problem. They brought this woman in because I can fix it. She got a cup. Put the cup over my stomach, and started going round and round in circles like this, and goes, he's cured, and just took money away. But an hour later I had diarrhea, I had the worst stomachache, and I ended up in a wheelchair, and I came back. This is how good they are at selling. Let's go back to 2010. So obviously this is the one place where you was doing it for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Talk us through it.
So like I said, I went through all these different medicines, tried India, tried this, tried that. And it got to a few years where I wasn't taking anything, and my vitiligo was I was just letting it be. And I got in touch with, I can't remember even who it was. Someone got in touch with me. I think it was a friend of a friend, and said to me that my partner's got vitiligo and he's been seeing this doctor in Crawley. He's a retired practitioner from the US. He's moved here now. Originally from India. Like, red flags were going off in my head. I was like, oh, he's from India. Yeah, here we go, another guy. But because it was someone I knew, I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. It had been a few years before I'd tried anything. So went to go and see this guy, and he showed me a few of his success stories, and I was really impressed actually. And he was like, 2 weeks time you'll see a big difference. I was like, what, 2 weeks time? I'd never heard that before. And so I went along with it, and it was basically getting injections in every area that I had vitiligo, and it's the most painful thing I've ever had to do, because I'm talking about injections, not just your usual in your arm injections or, you know, in your butt injections that you get when you were young. I'm talking about in my face, in every area that I got vitiligo.
So you talk about your eyes.
In the most sensitive areas, around my eyes,
your
my
lips,
nose,
your nose,
yeah,
your hands.
So everywhere I got vitiligo.
Wow. And
feet.
Was that just a one-off? You did it once, or was?
No, I wish. So this was every time I went to see him, and I was going to see him every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks, you was being injected
about 30-40 times with a serum that basically sensitized my skin to UV light. So I was going home on the back of those injections, taking vitamins like B12 that also makes your skin sensitive to light, and basically sitting in front of a UV light for like 10-20 seconds at a time. It was gradually increasing, and my skin was getting better. It was reversing after 2 weeks, just as he said. I was like, this guy is a miracle. How can this be possible, right? Because everywhere else I went, it was like, yeah, 6 months to a year, let us take all your money and you'll see some different, maybe. Anyway, it was a miracle. I was like, Mum, my skin's reversing. It's going back to brown. And she was like, well, that's amazing. And
how did that make you feel?
Oh, I was so happy, so happy. I was like, really, really happy.
If you think back to it, at that moment, would it have been one of the most happiest moments in your life?
No, then, yeah.
At that point, yeah. So you can imagine your journey up until 2010. Will that to be your most happiest moment, knowing that you probably graduated from high school, college, university at that point?
I didn't go to university, so after college,
yeah. So you've done.
I was starting. I think I was just a few years into my working life then. So yeah, it gave me a huge lot of confidence, because all them years before, since 10, 14 years, I'd say, I had to live with vitiligo, and all of a sudden it was reversing. I was like, oh my god, and it was coming back real quick. So yeah, months went by. I was going back every 2 weeks to see this guy. It was expensive. It wasn't cheap.
I can imagine.
But again, Mum and Dad were so happy.
They were happy to fork out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, their son's skin's getting back to normal again. So we thought. And it got to a point where I was pretty much fully repigmented in most areas. I'd say about 2% of my skin was still white. A few dots here and there that were still not covered, but I was boosted. I was so happy. And in that time, I met my wife. Wife now, obviously dating then. I was so confident. So I was like, oh, I want to date. You know, I want to go. I approached her. You know, went on a date with her.
And that's something out of character for you as well, approaching someone.
So, you know, I had this new confidence that I wanted to approach Rupi, and yeah, so in that 2 years, so we arranged the marriage, this, that and the other. I was still doing my medicine, and
she knew about it though.
Yeah, she knew straight away. We spoke about it like straight away about my vitiligo, and from the first day she was always supportive, and it never affected her. She actually used to say she liked it. It made me more unique. So
I can see that.
Yeah, thank you. And so yeah, it was all good. It was all good. Unfortunately, my dad's health deteriorated in those 2 years leading up to our marriage in 2012. My dad passed away in 2012, early 2012. Well, not early. I'd say it was September. Our marriage was set for November 2012. Obviously, early on in the year, we had planned it. He fell ill probably February, and September he passed away, unfortunately, and that was probably the most hardest point of my life when he passed away. You can relate.
Yeah, I can relate.
Why I say my vitiligo is linked to emotion is because straight after my dad passed away, being the most emotional time of my life, and the hardest time of my life, my vitiligo reversed and came back so aggressively to what it is now. I've never gone back. So basically, I stopped the medicine because I forgot to add that. I stopped the medicine because my health started to deteriorate because of it. I started getting joint pain.
Okay,
I started getting a lot of joint pain, and I played football, and I was like, what the hell, what's going on? Never had this pain before. So I stopped it for a month or so, and straight away, because it was affecting my work as well, my wrists and my elbows and my feet, I was on my feet all day. And I stopped the medicine for about a month, and I saw a difference straight away in my joint pain, like it stopped. I was like, well, obviously it's clearly linked
to that,
because I was exposing myself to UV light, UV rays. I think that had an effect as well. And so 2 years of that, can you imagine sitting in front of UV light every single night?
Just 2 years of being injected.
2 years of getting injected.
Every 2 weeks, 30, 40 times a go.
Every
in
single
your eyes, your nose.
Yeah. And in the joints as well, not forgetting the injections in my joints as well. So obviously inside, I don't know what was going on. On the outside, it was great. It was all great. So yeah, I stopped the medicine, and also my dad passed away, and it just the vitiligo just flipped and came back so aggressively. And since then, I've not touched any medicine since then.
So I really want to understand why you didn't go back to medication. Now, obviously, you know that this one was hurting your joints. But did you get to the point where you just said to yourself, enough is enough? Did you have a conversation with someone that was like, actually, I've got everything that I want. Why do I need to do it? What made you think, you know what, I can still be that confident person I was for those 2 years for the rest of my life?
So it was a bit of my mum's support and my wife's support. So I was newly married. Obviously, Rupi was like, it's affecting your health, so you're stopping that medicine right now. Mum also said the same. She doesn't want to see me suffering. What's the point? And obviously, she's quite happy now because I'm settled. I'm married now. So I think I got to a stage where I thought, you know what, I've got a good job. I'm married. My wife's absolutely loves my skin. So what am I so worried about? You know, why am I still fighting to look normal when my wife loves me so much for who I am and what I look like? And then just my family support, I think I would say, really helped in me not going back to medicine and not needing to go back to medicine. Even then though, I wasn't confident enough to still step out in V-necks or short sleeve or shorts even. Outside of home. In the home, I was absolutely fine because I had that big support network, family gathering with my cousins and stuff that I'm with them, and that obviously they've always been so supportive of me. Outside of the home, I was still it was still really hard for me to go and socialise and network.
Okay.
It wasn't up until a few years later.
So before we get there, you told me that for your wedding pictures, you was pretty much vitiligo free.
Yep.
Yeah. So you told me that was probably the main reason behind it. You said everything has a story. Every vitiligo has a story. And that one story for you was probably the one reason why you had to be cured for just that wedding day to look back.
Yeah, I do. I really believe in that. I really believe all the gods just wanted me to look. Maybe it was for me, maybe it was for my mum, maybe it was for someone, but it was for that one moment, for that one day. I was meant to look like that. I was meant to look normal, and it makes me happy to feel. When I think back at it and look at my pictures, I do feel happy that even if my mum won't ever admit it probably, but even if it gave her that little bit of happiness that my son looked normal, people didn't think bad of him or look bad at him, or you know what I mean.
It gave you confidence on one of the biggest nights or days of your entire life.
Yeah,
you're married.
I didn't care on my wedding day.
Obviously, there was the conflict of obviously your father passed away just before it, but even he would have been happy for you for that day to be like that as well. After everything that they put in getting you to that point.
That's right.
It would have been.
It all led up to that moment.
Yeah. I think that's just beautiful for me. That even like now I've got goosebumps just thinking about that. That's just a moment. Like you can't imagine the universe bringing moments like that. That's what has just happened.
Yeah.
It's just a moment where it's just beautiful.
100%. I really, really believe that was meant to be. That all happened for a reason, and now, like, look at me now, and everything what's happening now, which I'll talk about, is happening for a reason.
Actually, let's go into that. Actually, before that, how quickly did your vitiligo come back? Once your father passed away, once you got married, obviously, it must have been difficult in the house that you were living in as well, because you're newly married.
Yeah.
But Rupi's now coming to a building where you just lost the man of the house.
Yeah.
I can somewhat relate to that with my brother-in-law as
Yeah.
well. So, was that all the stresses of that and being in a new marriage and all of that? How quickly did the vitiligo come back?
So it came back really quick. I'm talking. So I got married in November. I think by about February the year after, so 2013, February, March time, it was pretty much coming back around my eyes, coming back on my elbows had repigmented, coming back there, and 100% all those things come into play. So first and foremost, my dad just passed away. Such a high, I've just got married. You know, they're clashing, those two things are clashing first.
Yeah.
I'm meant to be so happy, it's meant to be the happiest time of my life. But on this side, it's the saddest time of my life. I was really close with my dad, and helping Rupi adjust into her new house. She's coming to a new family. There was times when I was probably so down and not with it that I wasn't helping her adjust, and that was affecting the initial times of our marriage. Helping adjust to living in my family. My mum and sister were grieving. It was hard for them to adjust. You know what I mean? There was so many things clashing.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was meant to be the most happiest time of our lives, the honeymoon period, and it was far from that. And I think that all definitely affected my vitiligo coming back more aggressively as well.
But now we have a.patchy.indian, which is the Instagram name. I absolutely love the name. You have no idea. When I saw that, I was like, yes, Bully, yes, I like it. Because obviously, you know me, I'm a person, I'm a big believer in people. And I love a story where you can turn something negative into something positive. And this is now the life that you're leading, and you're obviously, we touched upon it where you're saying you're working on trying to change how Asian community thinks about things. You're now working on how everyone sees vitiligo. You want to educate people now, isn't it? So talk us through some of the things that you're doing, some of the things that you're going to do, and the type of advice you'd give to people who have vitiligo and the people in school who see people with vitiligo as well.
Right, so this newfound confidence has only just come. I think it's come with life experience. Being married for 8 years now and having a son, Curran, he's going to turn 4 in a couple of weeks. And I think with that life experience, it's changed me a lot, and it's given me a lot more confidence. I've changed the way I think about myself, about people, how I look at people, how people look at everyone. And it's all positive. And so I started my page in September last year, and that was off the back of a voluntary photo shoot I did for the Vitiligo Society, which is a society that anyone with vitiligo or any skin condition can join. They help to raise awareness, give advice, and be part of a network of people that have vitiligo or skin conditions. And before that, I had never networked. I was such an introvert, I'd never networked with anyone with a skin condition, or reached out, and suddenly I was amongst 20-30 people with vitiligo, and we were sharing stories, and all of a sudden, I was like bouncing off these people. I was so confident amongst them because they all related and they all had similar stories, or we'd been through similar experiences. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I really, really love this. and I want to do more. I want to do more of this. You know, I want to find more people. I've got this close knit of friends that I have from that day that I keep in touch with, who have really supported me and pushed me to make this page and get into my modelling and acting. And just off the back of the modelling and acting, I thought, you know what, I really, really want to raise awareness about vitiligo, because not a lot of people know about it, and I've been so quiet about it all this time in my life. I really want to like shout off the rooftops and let people know vitiligo, just put it out everywhere and raise awareness about it. And I've been doing quite a lot of work. I've done quite a few blogs. I've worked with LinkedIn, with Sky, the British Skin Foundation recently. They just put up a post yesterday. Photo shoots, voluntary photo shoots, helping promote positive body image. Not just vitiligo, every skin condition, every disability, every difference. It's amazing. It's amazing. Just by meeting these people, like I mentioned to you earlier, there's people who are amputees. There's little kids, you know. There's little kids that have got alopecia or different kinds of differences and disabilities, and it makes me feel like, you know what I have is not that bad. I mean, everyone has a different perception of their own conditions or their own lives, but me now, when I look at what I have, it's nothing compared to what a lot of people are going through or have, and that's really inspired me to do what I'm doing now, and just trying to help people and inspire people.
That is absolutely amazing. The fact that you've been able to take something that has really affected your confidence up until a few years ago and turn that into something so positive and so beautiful, it's just an amazing achievement, and well done to you. I mean, like,
Thank
absolutely you. Amazing. I think one of the lessons that I see that, like, everyone in their own shoes will believe their problems are the biggest problems.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's only when you start really opening your eyes and seeing everything else around you, you'll understand that your problems are maybe not as big as you think, and it might even help you become better or feel better about yourself. Prime example, obviously my father passed away with cancer, but before he had that, I would have thought every problem that I was having, small little things,
Yep.
were massive. But then when I saw that, and then I saw death, to me, there's a positive and a negative from it. From me, I didn't find anything massive anymore. I didn't find anything like, oh wow, this is this is that, this is this is that. Everything seemed really small, because nothing was as big as someone passing away, as you can imagine. But you can now use these things to make it a massive positive. Prime example is just stories, so that we can help so many other viewers understand what vitiligo is, or other stories, and just be like, oh, actually I'm going through something similar, oh, you did that, amazing, I can do that, or I could do this, and it just turns a negative into a positive. And that's the whole reason behind the podcast. But what you've done is just, oh mate.
Exactly. I mean, like, if I could give any advice to anyone, it's just like, if you can always do better. You always have that mindset. You can always do better. You can always be a better person. And this is like to everyone, not just people with vitiligo. I mean, even if, you know, not everyone's going to accept. Like, if you've got vitiligo, not everyone's going to accept it, and you may never accept it. You never have that confidence to accept it. However, if what I'm doing helps, you know, like just one person have a little bit of confidence, or put up one picture maybe of their vitiligo, or, you know, just have that little 1% of confidence, then
job well done.
Yeah, it's a job well done, and that's really rewarding for me. And I just hope this really helps others, you know, help others share their stories and help inspire other people to accept themselves and just be a better person.
Well, buddy, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on to the show. It's been a powerful story. I don't know really how you did it, but you have turned something so negative into something so positive. So I just want to say well done to that again one more time.
Thank you, mate.
And to thank you very much for coming on the show.
You're most welcome. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. So guys, that's another episode of Life Out Loud done. If you want to know more, obviously you can just drop comments. His Instagram page will be on all over our social media as well, so please do follow him and see his journey, see exactly what he's doing. Obviously he's doing something amazing. So for those of you who are following me, I really do hope you will start following him as well. Drop us a comment if you think that you have anything that you want to share with us, or a comment in case there's something that you missed and didn't understand about vitiligo. We're more than happy to help you guys out. For now, my name's Vishal. I'm your host as always. Thank you very much again, buddy, and we'll be with you on the next episode. Take care.